So, well, welcome everybody to our Cooking for Wellness Chef's Challenge. We are very excited tonight to be joined by professional chef Scott Bast and our wonderful dietitian Michelle. This is Chef Scott's first time being challenged by us, and we're very excited to see what he's going to come up with the ingredients that he has to cook with. So we're going to do a countdown, and he will have the opportunity to unveil at that. So on the count of three, 1, 2, 3. Chef, you can unveil.
Oh, it's like Christmas.
Yeah, exactly.
So what Chef is seeing there, and we will spotlight him in a minute. We have chicken, which was recommended to us by Richard Lennick. We have walnuts, which was recommended to us by Pat Belmont. There's spaghetti squash, which was recommended by Irene Aguilar, and then ghee, which is also recommended by Irene. So Michelle, if you want to do your specialty,
sure.
I will be quiet now.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so I was kind of excited about these different options because they definitely take a different role on things. So spaghetti squash is definitely something that's probably most of you guys have seen in the store and might have used more consistently over the years. But it's a great squash option that obviously it gets its name because when you roast it and you take a fork and string it, it looks like spaghetti. So that's the defining name on that. But you'll definitely see it in more dishes, people, if they're monitoring their carb intake, because a cup of spaghetti squash has.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There we go. It only has 10 grams of carb per cup. And we would compare that to a traditional pasta. A cup of pasta is going to be about 45 grams of carbohydrate. Okay. The other thing that we have to consider with the spaghetti squash itself is that it's going to have a lot more nutritional value from our vitamins and minerals. So it does have vitamin A, vitamin C, and vitamin B. And so remember those polyphenols as well. Those are those antioxidant properties to the spaghetti squash. And so when we compare this and look at research specifically, what we're kind of looking at is that some of these polyphenols in early studies right now have shown to kill cancer cells. So there's more research to be done with it, but that's something that we have to be aware of, and definitely an incentive to incorporate more fruits and veggies into our diet, period. Has anybody used spaghetti squash on a reasonable basis? Got some hands? Of course, Chef. What do you guys think about it?
You are welcome to unmute.
Sorry, Kathy. Yeah, if you want to unmute Kathy, you can share your thoughts.
No, I just like it, particularly in the summer, because you can cook it in the microwave and you don't have to get the pasta steam all over the kitchen. But my husband likes it, so that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely a great alternative.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a good source of fiber too. You get 4 grams of fiber per that 1 cup serving too. So definitely more nutrient dense than your traditional pasta options. But you can use it in other ways. I've actually did spaghetti squash and I made an au gratin potato casserole. So it was potato free, but the recipe called for spaghetti squash and then Greek yogurt and still cheese. So all of the contents of an au gratin potato casserole, but no potatoes. So I brought it to Thanksgiving. I had the lowest carb option at the Thanksgiving table that year.
Wendy, were you going to say something?
I was going to say, I just serve spaghetti squash with like Italian seasonings and Parmesan cheese, some olive oil.
Yeah, it's a great dish. It's very simple that you can add just a little bit to it and really enhances it. Very good. Yeah. You got some ideas going, Chef, on what you're going to be doing with that spaghetti squash?
Well, first thing I gotta do, because it's going to take a little time, I am going to get them roasted right now.
Awesome. Okay.
I use a little bit of butter, started out. I cleaned it out first. You cut the two ends off, you clean it out, and then you roast it. And then you take a fork, and the meat becomes like spaghetti style. We cook spaghetti with this for some of our sports teams that can't have the spaghetti, so we love working with it. So
Yeah.
what I do is I'm going to take a little bit of olive oil and rub it on. By the way, I'm not wearing a mask because I'm the only one within 100 miles.
Fair enough.
Mask, and I was given permission to take it off since nobody's around.
Chef, did I see you taking the peel off of the spaghetti squash?
I took the ends off and I took the seeds in the center out.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So the skin's still there. It holds everything together.
Okay. I am going to just throw a teeny bit of salt, just a little bit. So I got to try to do a little work. I'm going to put this in the oven, let it roast.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Now my other ingredients are chicken and walnuts. So we're going to add a little to this to make it a little bit more unique. Okay. So I'm going to take my butter.
Okay. Is that the ghee that you're using, Chef?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. So ghee is going to be that clarified butter. So really that clarification is happening. So they're getting separating out the oil, or I'm sorry, the actual fat of butter away from the milk solids and a little bit of actual water. So you definitely see it more traditionally used in Indian dishes, but we're definitely seeing it a little bit more prominent in different dishes that or recipes that you guys might be seeing online when you're doing a recipe search. We still have to use it in moderation. It's still not going to change the fat content. And just remember, it's still going to be animal based, so it is going to be a saturated fat. So you want to watch the frequency of that type of product.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the chicken breasts, I'm going to trim a little of the fat away, which I don't like, and get this all set. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it into strips. My thought process is to turn this into, give it a little bit of Italian flair and cut this into strips, roasted sauteed in the skillet. I'm going to take the walnuts, throw them in as well, cook them in instead of pine nuts. So I'm going to improvise with that, add some fresh garlic. I didn't use salt. I'm using Morton salt substitute as well. So I'll do that. What's that?
I was just nodding that you're doing that. So, okay.
So, and then I'm going to throw some vegetables in it and some fresh garlic, some little bit of fresh basil, parsley, give it a nice little Italian flavor, because that's what I always love about the squash. It works out so well.
Yeah. Yep. And everybody, the chicken selection, that's going to be a nice lean protein. And so that's going to be something that is a little bit more appropriate from like a heart health standpoint. And then remember that it's going to be a great source of protein. So you get 7 grams of protein per ounce of any type of animal protein. So we usually say about a 4-ounce portion. So you're getting 28 grams of protein within that option. So, and that's probably one of the leaner animal-based proteins that we have available to us.
Michelle?
Yes.
Is the breast more protein content than the drumstick?
I mean, kind of, because you're going to get more actual meat on the breast versus the drumstick, but it doesn't really. It's still going to be like per ounce, it'll still be the same. You're going to have a little bit of higher fat content, dark meat versus white meat. It's not a dramatic difference, but the protein across the board would be the same.
Now, I just want to say one thing. Right now, because nobody is enjoying this, I use the cutting board with the chicken, and in a normal circumstance, I would switch cutting boards right now, but because of time, I'm prepping. I wiped it down, but I will not eat off of this because of that. Okay. So I know it sounds terrible, but I was thinking of just flipping the cutting board over. So at least it's more sanitary and people understand that do not use your cutting board after you cut the chicken up.
Yep,
so,
absolutely.
But I will do that just for So
I
like,
have a red cutting board that I use specifically for the chicken and meats. So I know that it's, to keep away from my vegetables or any fruit. I mean, that red one is specifically for that protein.
Right.
and I agree with that because I have colored ones for produce and everything. Nobody told me what I was doing today, so it could have been a
Darlene, it's all your fault.
These cutting boards belong here, so.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
More fun. I'm gonna take a little bit of fresh onion and throw it in as well. Cook up a little onion in there. So, and I'm gonna take a little bit of fresh garlic at the end and do that.
Good. Yeah. And then Chef, you said you're going to just top it with walnuts just at the very end once the chicken's been fully cooked.
Sauteing the walnut.
Okay.
Pick up the flavors, the chicken and the seasoning and the onion and everything else. It'll be used for topping, but I'm using one skillet and that's how I'm doing it.
Okay. We like those one dish meals, right? One pot meals. Yeah.
Was the chicken breast marinated or had a rub?
No, I think
marinated unless they send it to me special.
I think it was just regular old chicken. So
I know, but did they use rub to season? Rub, the rubbing seasoning, or has it been marinated before he sauteed it with the ghee?
No, it was just regular chicken. So he did add some salt substitute, and then that was his main seasoning. Then he's going to add the garlic and obviously the onion right now too to flavor it. So the chicken wasn't pre-marinated.
Okay.
And I love to rough chop my herbs. I love them. I don't like them all fine, and I love only fresh herbs. Now, believe it or not, I'm going to throw just a little bit of lemon in because I love the lemon. The acid gets right into the chicken while it's hot, gives it a nice little something that I love. So.
Okay. Perfect. And then with us adding in some walnuts, we're actually looking at adding in some more omega-3s. So this is what differentiates the walnuts from just all the other nuts, is that it does have an omega-3 alpha-linolenic acid. So ALA is what you'll see a lot of the times, but it's really the only plant-based option of omega-3s. When we think about omega-3s, you mostly think about like salmon, tuna, and mackerel, more animal-based products, but the walnuts are going to kind of add a nice, good, heart-healthy fat to this dish, and you get 4 grams of protein with that, and you actually get a little fiber out of our nuts too. So they're actually a good source of fiber. We just have to watch the volume of nuts. So a serving of nuts is a 1/4 cup. So I always recommend for people to measure out instead of just taking the canister of nuts, because we can eat more than a 1/4 cup very easily, especially if we're nut lovers anyways.
Now, Michelle, when I was getting these from Giant Eagle, I was looking at just regular walnuts versus organic, and I did do a search, an internet search, and they did recommend that because there is a chance of pesticides that it's better to get the organic. So that's what Chef is using tonight. Okay. But was that a good choice, or does it really matter?
I mean, I think when we look at organic, I just really think that's a personal choice for everybody. We have to look at what part of the food we're actually like fully eating and consuming. So just, maybe in the harvesting piece of things, we just have to be a little bit more aware of it. So it's kind of different for each type of food product that we're kind of considering. So that probably wasn't a bad choice to switch over to organic. The other thing to kind of be aware of with nuts is to see, like, have they been roasted or if they're raw? because a lot of times if they're roasted, they're going to be adding a little bit more fat because they're getting cooked and having some type of oil to them. So a lot of times they use, I want to say cottonseed a lot of times. So that could be something else to look on the packaging, doing maybe raw nuts, and then you can roast them yourselves just in the oven on a sheet pan. And that's an opportunity to even flavor the raw nuts. So you could do different things like garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, and give them a little flavor. And then you have something more fun to snack on too.
Hey, Michelle.
Yes.
I bought this little cartoon with sardines in tomato sauce, and it says, I just noticed it, contains about 1,700 milligrams of omega-3 per container. There's 3 little sardines in it. Is that the daily requirement?
I'm going to have to look up the daily requirement of omega-3s. But yeah, sardines are actually a good source of omega-3s. I don't eat them in any context, so I kind of forget about those guys. But yeah, those are actually another good fish source of omega-3s. But I'll have to clarify the recommendations of omega-3. I can look that up though while we're watching Chef cook.
Oh, sorry.
No, go right ahead, Chef.
I've got my chicken really just about done. I'm going to just hit a little bit of carrot shavings in for color, a little bit of parsley and basil at the last second also, just so I hate that blah color. If I had tomatoes with me, I would probably add some tomatoes in, diced up, and toss them in just a little bit. But then I'm waiting. The biggest thing is waiting for the squash. So I'm hoping that I can have that within the next 30 minutes because it's not my oven, so I can't tell how long it's going to take. But for the most part, everything is done here. The walnuts, I don't know if you could smell it from there, but I can. But everything smells really, really good. And if you've never worked with this butter, it truly is wonderful. So it's a really great thing to work with, and you can keep this for months and months. It's a great stable product. So.
Chef Scott, how else do you use ghee? Because I mean, I think we tend to just be more reformed to just use butter when we're cooking. So do you feel like ghee we can automatically substitute in any recipe?
You can use regular butter as well. And then what you can always do, I love Irish butter. If you've ever find that in the stores, I know they have it at Giant Eagle. I've seen it there. I bought it there. But I love working with Irish butter. If you've never had it, it is unbelievable to work with. So I was just cutting just to show you how fast these all cooked up.
Oh yeah.
I'm in the strips, and they're all done. I'm going to shut this down. And the only thing I'm going to add right now, I'm going to throw some of the herbs in and some of the carrots because I got all the seed and I don't want it to all be ruined. I'm going to toss it all in. So I've got a nice little color because I hate the blah color.
Yeah. Wendy, yes, the recommendation would be to go ahead and refrigerate the ghee once it's been opened. At least that's what I do. Do you refrigerate your ghee, Chef?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. That's terrible. I don't care what people tell you. I love safety. So
yeah. Safety first for sure.
Yeah, but it is shelf stable, but doesn't make me happy. So
yeah, because I mean, truly the ghee is just going to be the fat since it's taken away all the milk solids. But yeah, I get it. I'm the same way. I keep mine in the fridge too.
Yeah, it's just not worth it. So then I was going to finish this off with a little bit of fresh rosemary as a garnish and maybe a fresh little orchid or some leaves of the orchid for color. And that's it because I love color. So there's nothing like having a vibrant. But the only thing I'm waiting on is my squash. But that one I can't control because it's got to cook in the oven. Part of me saying I'm thinking I might switch it to a skillet a little bit more that way, but I need a little steam at that point. So, but it should be close to being done.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the best way to cook the sweet squash is roasting it, but there are other ways I've talked about people, and actually Kathy mentioned earlier, like cooking it in the microwave. I've seen for crock pots and Instapot. So it's pretty diverse on how, you want to even get it cooked.
Too. Steam goes really well. But like I said, the best way is to roast it in the oven. If you have time, what I would plan on is do the squash about an hour before you're ready to eat. Get the squash done, because you're going to use a fork and you're going to pull it out gently like spaghetti. And as you pull it out, you can transfer it into a bowl or a skillet, add in a little bit of the ghee, add in some salt, pepper, if you want to add a little Parmesan cheese or anything that you want, and think of it as a healthy spaghetti. And you wouldn't really know the difference except you saw it come out of the squash. So
yeah. It definitely lives up to its name. That's for sure. Sometimes substitutes don't always do that, but the spaghetti squash definitely does. And you could make, because it does make a lot, so I always try to look for the smallest spaghetti squash at the store if I'm going to use it in a recipe. But you could take the leftovers, as long as you get most of the water out of it. You just want to press it between some paper towels. You could freeze it. It freezes very well.
now, if you look, you'll see, I don't know if you see it from there, but you can see where it's getting a little clarified right there. Do you see that? That's what you're hoping for, to go all the way through to the skin. So I'm going to try, because I made one piece a little thinner because I was afraid of time of how to pull it out. But you grab it, hold on to it with a towel or a hand towel or a little glove, and you basically can just pull it out like this, because this one is just about done. It's all coming loose, but it's not really ready, so I'm not making it pretty. It's a little tougher than I want it to be.
Yeah,
So,
a little al dente tonight.
Yeah, you want it cooked more, but like I said, time-wise, I wanted to give you something to see to make sure you got it. So, and this is the best I could do on under my timeline. So,
Yeah.
so I've got to.
I usually throw it in a microwave, and so it gets cooked and softened, and then you cut it in half and you're ready to scrape it out.
Yep. So,
Yep, definitely a quick version with that way too.
The ghee, I love using it in sunny side up egg and omelette eggs and anything that I saute.
That's how I use the ghee. Yeah.
Well, Chef, just to let you know, you still have about 11 minutes of your 30 minutes section. So,
okay.
I think he's trying to beat Jason here. That's for sure.
Yeah, we said 30 minutes. So you do have, still about, now 10 minutes left.
So, yeah.
I think I'm doing pretty good.
He's ready to go. And if guys, like you could do this exact dish and making like zucchini noodles, the zoodles that are available, make it yourself, or they have in the frozen section, and in the fresh produce too. So you can definitely switch it up. Definitely you could blend them together so you get some green and yellow. So those are always good options to consider too. But then it's just nice and fresh. You're not bogged down with eating too many carbs and ready to go to bed after you eat something like this. It's definitely lighter.
What seasoning did he use in any of those in that recipe? Did he use turmeric and ginger?
I don't think so, Chef. You used the salt substitute. What else did you put in for more seasoning?
Garlic, onion, the butter, that was it. I really kept this as basic as nice. But I can tell you this, when we're off the air, I know what I'll be eating. So I'm not going to worry about it. So a little bit of fresh rosemary just for a garnish. I didn't want to cook with it, but that's about it, to get it all nice and beautiful. And to me, there's nothing like fresh herbs. So for the spaghetti squash, and then I took the walnuts and tossed them a little bit with a little bit that I was able to get out of the skin. And that's what I did. So
will that be in the recipe? Does he have that in the the list of recipes?
They will. He'll put it together, and then they'll be able to post that.
Right. Thank you.
Yes,
sounds delicious.
Yeah,
it does. It really does. And so one of the things that we'll ask Chef to do is to write that recipe up and get that to us so we can upload it.
Did you remember everything, Chef, that you used?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah. Good.
Now, I love
what can I alternate with onion, because I'm allergic to onion?
You can live without the onion. I love the flavor that it brings out. How are you with garlic? Can you have garlic?
I love garlic.
Then
Yes, I can have garlic.
crush the garlic and cook it up in there, and I think it's great. Listen, the one simple thing with a meal like this is tailor it to what you love. I mean, if you love, you know what else would be really great with this, believe it or not, is when you finish it up, the chicken, take a little goat cheese, put a cover on it for 2 seconds, let the goat cheese melt on it, and
Ooh,
really, really nice way to finish it off.
that sounds good. Yeah, and a little goat cheese goes a long way, right, guys? It's very pungent, so you don't need a lot.
No, it's true. So, but like I said, the onion is just something extra that I think I do love to cook with onions. I love red onions and I love white onions. So either way. So, but if you can't have them, it doesn't matter. So, what else? What do you want me to cook next? Can I have
He's got 5 minutes,
That's
guys.
right.
What could he do now?
what can I do in 5 minutes? Cut an orange.
You can cut an orange, okay.
Well,
Now,
because I'm all about garnish too. So
kind of make things look pretty and appetizing. Well, it's a way to add color, but different colors are going to provide different nutrients for the body too. So not necessarily a bad thing.
and the citrus, you know what? You could change this whole thing. You could take a little, a little orange and squeeze some orange instead of lemon. You're still going to get that same acid in there, but you'll get a little
Right.
sweeter chicken dish.
That's
And
a great idea.
It'll make the walnuts taste a little sweeter as well.
Mm-hmm.
How about the rind? Can I put the rind? The
It might
orange
taste
rind.
tough, but yes.
So Michelle, if you have a nice sized container of walnuts, I know that they will go rancid. Are they, can you freeze them as well?
Yeah, exactly. Freezing nut, because I do nuts in bulk. I get mine at Costco. So I leave so much out for my husband to consume, and then I'll put them in the freezer so
He
they
doesn't
don't
eat
go
them?
rancid.
He doesn't eat them. He has to consume them.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, technical terms, I guess. Or he'll eat all of them and I won't get any. So he doesn't know that I store them in the freezer. Sometimes that's my serving. So yeah, it would be best to kind of just keep them in the freezer, especially if you don't eat them on a consistent basis, or you get them in bulk. You're not gonna be able to eat those all in a short period of time. So yeah, that'd be the best way to preserve them.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Michelle, ask the chef, could I use turmeric and ginger powder to season it?
Turmeric.
Yeah, yeah. She's
And-
asking
and
about
ginger
turmeric
powder.
and ginger to season the spaghetti squash.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the spaghetti squash is just a very neutral palate, or flavor, so you can really flavor it however you would like.
Okay.
There's my
Ooh.
rose.
Can
I
we get
have-
closer to the
And I still am in my
Screen?
30 minutes.
we can't see it.
Oh, can you come closer to the screen, Chef?
Come around in the front.
Oh, thanks.
Or get you outside of the kitchen.
A little bit of exercise.
I don't like your attitude.
Up,
Up just a smidge. There
oh,
we go.
beautiful. Oh, look at that. Looks like a rose.
That's
Mhm.
pretty.
Yeah.
That is right pretty.
Very nice.
So I
Thank
did okay,
you.
and I'm under my 30 minutes.
You are here 30 minutes.
Excellent job, Chef.
Thank you.
Great
guys.
job. Yummy.
I would love to do this again, but I need more challenge. I need more. So
Well, we were greatly appreciative of you stepping up to the plate and answering your first challenge from us and using the ingredients that were recommended. We will be back on Thursday, April the 1st, for our Cooking for Wellness with Central Ohio Urology Group, and Chef Jason will be back. We greatly appreciate everybody joining us tonight, and Chef will write up that recipe and we will definitely get it on the website. So thank you, Chef Scott, and thank you, Michelle.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank
you,
you.
everybody. It's good to see everybody.
Thank you.
Yes.